Ever wondered how some people effortlessly get what they want? The audiobook Covert Persuasion, Get Anything You Want Without Being Noticed, reveals the hidden art of subtle influence, empowering you to shape opinions and decisions unnoticed. Master psychological techniques that fly under the radar, enhancing your communication and relationships. Don't miss out on career advancements, stronger connections, and personal triumphs. Transform your personal and professional life with ethical, powerful strategies that will make you a master of effortless persuasion. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: Invisible Strings. In the intricate dance of human interaction, there exists a subtle yet powerful force that shapes decisions, molds opinions, and guides behaviors without ever being noticed. This force, known as covert persuasion, operates beneath the surface of conscious awareness, pulling the invisible strings that influence our choices and actions. As you embark on this journey to master the art of subtle influence, you're about to unlock a world of possibilities that will transform the way you communicate, negotiate, and lead. Imagine walking into a room and instantly commanding attention without saying a word. Picture yourself effortlessly steering conversations in your desired direction, all while others believe they're making their own choices. Envision a reality where your ideas are embraced, your suggestions followed, and your goals achieved with remarkable ease. This is the power of covert persuasion, and it's within your grasp. But let's be clear, covert persuasion is not about manipulation or deceit. It's about understanding the intricate workings of the human mind and using that knowledge to create win-win situations. It's about becoming so attuned to the needs, desires, and motivations of others that you can align your objectives with theirs, creating harmony instead of conflict. As you delve into this chapter, you'll begin to understand the foundations of covert persuasion and its significance in your daily interactions. You'll discover how unconscious cues and subliminal messages impact decision-making processes, often more powerfully than overt attempts at influence. This knowledge will open your eyes to the myriad opportunities for subtle persuasion that surround you every day. But what exactly can you expect to achieve as you begin this journey? First and foremost, you'll gain a solid understanding of the basic techniques of covert persuasion. You'll learn to recognize the subtle cues and signals that people unconsciously send and receive. This awareness will allow you to spot opportunities for influence in conversations, meetings, and even casual encounters. Moreover, you'll start to incorporate foundational strategies into your communication style. You'll find yourself naturally building rapport, mirroring body language, and framing your messages in ways that resonate deeply with your audience. These skills will become second nature, enhancing your ability to connect with others and guide outcomes in your favor. As you continue to practice and refine these techniques, the potential for growth is limitless. Over time, you'll master advanced methods of covert persuasion, developing an almost intuitive ability to influence others effortlessly. Your personal and professional relationships will strengthen as you become more adept at understanding and meeting the needs of those around you. To achieve these results, you'll need to immerse yourself in the key psychological principles that underpin persuasion. You'll explore concepts like cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and the power of nonverbal communication. Armed with this knowledge, you'll practice techniques such as building instant rapport, subtle mirroring, and strategic framing of information. The journey to mastery requires consistent application of these methods in various contexts. You'll need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, experimenting with different approaches in low-stakes situations before applying them to more critical interactions. This gradual progression is crucial as it allows you to build a solid foundation before advancing to more complex techniques. Why is this step-by-step approach so important? By establishing a strong grasp of the basics, you'll develop the confidence and competence necessary to wield more advanced persuasion techniques effectively. Building your skills sequentially ensures that you fully understand the impact of each method, allowing you to use them responsibly and ethically. Speaking of ethics, it's crucial to address the moral considerations of covert persuasion. There's a fine line between influence and manipulation, and it's essential to recognize and respect this boundary. Covert persuasion should always be used with the intention of creating positive outcomes for all parties involved. By aligning your goals with the needs and desires of others, you can build trust and foster genuine connections. As you begin to apply these techniques, you'll notice significant benefits in both your personal and professional life. Your communication skills will improve dramatically, allowing you to express your ideas more clearly and persuasively. You'll find yourself navigating social situations with increased confidence, able to read people more accurately and respond more effectively. In the professional realm, your enhanced persuasion skills will open doors to new opportunities. Negotiations will become more favorable as you subtly guide discussions toward your desired outcomes. Leadership roles will come more naturally as you inspire and influence team members without resorting to overt authority. To make the most of this journey, it's essential to set clear intentions from the outset. Take a moment to reflect on your goals. What specific outcomes do you hope to achieve through mastering covert persuasion? Perhaps you want to advance in your career, improve your relationships, or simply become more effective in your daily interactions. Whatever your objectives, ensure they align with your ethical standards and personal values. As you progress through this book, you'll discover a wealth of techniques and strategies for subtle influence. From the power of storytelling to the art of framing perspectives, each chapter will build upon the last, expanding your persuasive toolkit. You'll learn how to prime others for receptivity, create the illusion of choice, and leverage the principles of social proof and scarcity. Remember, the journey to mastering covert persuasion is ongoing. Even as you finish this book, continue to practice and refine your skills. Seek out opportunities to apply what you've learned in various contexts. Pay attention to the responses you receive and be willing to adjust your approach as needed. With time and dedication, you'll develop an almost intuitive ability to influence others positively and ethically. As we conclude this introductory chapter, you stand on the threshold of a transformative journey. The world of covert persuasion is vast and complex, filled with subtle nuances and powerful techniques waiting to be discovered. In the chapters that follow, we'll delve deeper into each aspect of this fascinating field, equipping you with the knowledge and skills to become a master of invisible influence. Are you ready to pull back the curtain and glimpse the hidden mechanisms that shape human behavior? As we move forward, prepare to explore the intricate dance of rapport building, where the slightest gestures can forge powerful connections. The art of mirroring awaits, promising to unlock new levels of trust and likability in your interactions. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Building Rapport. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly connect with others, while others struggle to make even the simplest of interactions feel natural? The answer lies in a subtle yet powerful skill that forms the bedrock of all successful relationships, both personal and professional. This skill, often overlooked in the pursuit of more overt persuasion techniques, is the art of building rapport. As we delve into this chapter, you'll discover that rapport is far more than just being friendly or making small talk. It's a deep, almost intangible connection that creates a bridge of understanding and trust between individuals. This connection, when cultivated properly, becomes the secret pathway through which influence flows effortlessly. But why is rapport so crucial in the realm of covert persuasion? Imagine trying to guide someone's thoughts or actions when they're guarded, suspicious, or simply indifferent to your presence. It's like trying to steer a ship with no rudder. You might exert all your energy, but you'll make little progress. Rapport changes this dynamic entirely. When you establish genuine rapport, you create an environment of openness and receptivity. The walls of resistance naturally lower, and the person you're interacting with becomes more willing to consider your ideas and perspectives. It's as if you've been granted special access to their thought processes, allowing your subtle influences to take root and flourish. Moreover, rapport acts as a powerful antidote to skepticism. In a world where everyone seems to have an agenda, people are naturally wary of those trying to persuade them. But when they feel a genuine connection with you, that wariness dissipates. They begin to see you not as someone trying to influence them, but as a trusted ally whose ideas and suggestions carry weight. So, what exactly is rapport, and how can we recognize it when it's present? At its core, rapport is a state of harmony between individuals. It's characterized by a sense of ease, mutual understanding, and a feeling of being in sync with the other person. When rapport is strong, conversations flow naturally, silences feel comfortable, and there's an almost palpable sense of connection. The signs of strong rapport are often subtle but unmistakable. You might notice that your body language naturally mirrors the other person's, or that you find yourself nodding in agreement more frequently. There's often a sense of time flying by as you engage in conversation, and you may find yourself thinking, "It feels like I've known this person for years, even if you've just met." Trust plays a pivotal role in this dynamic. When rapport is established, it creates a foundation of trust that can be built upon quickly and effectively. This trust becomes a powerful tool in your persuasive arsenal, allowing your ideas and suggestions to be received with open-mindedness and consideration. But how do we go about building this elusive connection? The techniques for establishing rapport are deceptively simple, yet profoundly effective when mastered. At the heart of these techniques lies the art of active listening. This goes far beyond simply hearing the words someone is saying. It involves fully engaging with the speaker, giving them your undivided attention, and showing through your responses that you truly understand and value their perspective. One powerful way to demonstrate active listening is through the practice of reflecting and paraphrasing. By carefully repeating back key points in your own words, you not only show that you've been paying attention, but also give the speaker an opportunity to clarify or expand on their thoughts. This simple act can create a powerful sense of being understood, which is a cornerstone of rapport. Showing genuine interest is another crucial aspect of building rapport. This involves asking meaningful questions that go beyond surface-level small talk. By expressing curiosity about the other person's experiences, opinions, and feelings, you create opportunities for deeper connection. The key here is authenticity. Your interest must be genuine, as people are remarkably adept at detecting insincerity. Finding common ground is a time-honored technique for establishing rapport, and for good reason. When we discover shared interests, experiences, or values with someone, it creates an immediate sense of kinship. This doesn't mean you need to agree on everything. Even a shared appreciation for a particular type of music or a mutual challenge in your professional lives can serve as a bridge to deeper connection. As you practice these techniques, you'll find that your empathy and emotional intelligence naturally begin to sharpen. You'll become more attuned to the subtle emotional cues that people give off, both through their words and their body language. This heightened awareness allows you to respond more appropriately to the emotional undercurrents of a conversation, validating feelings and offering support in ways that strengthen the bond between you. It's important to note that building rapport isn't just about making the other person feel good, it's also about establishing your own credibility. This doesn't mean dominating the conversation with tales of your accomplishments. Instead, it involves subtly demonstrating your competence through the insights you share and the questions you ask. The goal is to position yourself as a knowledgeable and reliable ally, someone whose opinions and suggestions carry weight. Consistency is key in maintaining the rapport you've built. Following through on promises, no matter how small, and ensuring that your words align with your actions creates a sense of dependability that reinforces trust. Regular, meaningful communication helps keep the connection alive, even when you're not in direct contact. Remembering and referencing important details from previous conversations shows that you value the relationship and pay attention to what matters to the other person. Of course, even with the best intentions, misunderstandings can occur. Learning to navigate these potential pitfalls is crucial for maintaining rapport over the long term. When conflicts arise, address them openly and honestly, always with an eye towards preserving the underlying connection. Often, the way you handle difficulties can actually strengthen rapport, demonstrating your commitment to the relationship. As with any skill, building rapport improves with practice. Consider engaging in active listening drills with a partner, focusing not just on the words being said, but on the nonverbal cues that accompany them. Practice empathy enhancement activities, such as journaling from another person's perspective or engaging in role-play scenarios that challenge you to see situations from different viewpoints. The outcomes of mastering rapport building can be truly transformative. At a basic level, you'll find yourself establishing easy connections in casual interactions, making day-to-day life smoother and more enjoyable. As your skills improve, you'll develop deeper connections that lead to increased influence in both personal and professional spheres. The ultimate goal is to create long-lasting relationships characterized by high levels of trust and openness, where your ability to persuade becomes almost effortless. However, it's crucial to approach rapport building with respect for boundaries. Be attuned to signs of discomfort in others and be willing to adjust your approach if you sense you're overstepping. Remember, the goal is genuine connection, not manipulation. Cultivate real curiosity about others and let your interest in them be authentic. As we conclude this exploration of rapport, you're now equipped with the foundational skills to create meaningful connections that will enhance your persuasive abilities. But building rapport is just the beginning. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a technique so subtle, so powerful, that it can create instant connection without a single word being spoken. Prepare to discover the hidden language that speaks louder than words as we explore the art of silent synchronization. Chapter 3: Mirroring Techniques. Have you ever found yourself inexplicably drawn to someone, feeling an instant connection without quite understanding why? Or perhaps you've experienced a conversation that flowed so naturally, it was as if you and the other person were in perfect sync. These moments of seamless interaction often have a hidden force at play, one that operates beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover a powerful technique that can dramatically enhance your ability to connect with others and exert subtle influence. This method is so ingrained in human behavior that you've likely been using it unconsciously your entire life. However, by bringing it into the realm of conscious application, you'll unlock a new level of persuasive power. At its core, this technique is about creating a sense of familiarity and comfort. It's about signaling to others on a subconscious level that you're on the same wavelength. But how exactly does this work? And why is it so effective in the realm of covert persuasion? The answer lies in our innate human tendency to favor those who are similar to ourselves. This preference is deeply rooted in our evolutionary history, where recognizing and bonding with our own kind was crucial for survival. In modern times, this instinct manifests in our inclination to trust and like those who remind us of ourselves. By tapping into this natural inclination, you can create subconscious connections that enhance trust and likability. These connections form the foundation upon which influence can be built. When someone feels a sense of alignment with you, they're more likely to be open to your ideas and suggestions. Communication becomes smoother, as if you're speaking the same unspoken language. But what exactly is this technique, and how does it work on a psychological level? The answer lies in a fascinating aspect of human neurobiology: mirror neurons. These specialized brain cells fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. In essence, they allow us to mirror the experiences of others, creating a neural basis for empathy and connection. When we engage in mirroring behavior, we activate these mirror neurons in both ourselves and the person we're interacting with. This creates a subconscious sense of affinity, as if we're in sync with one another. It's a powerful way of saying, "I'm like you," without uttering a word. Scientific studies have consistently shown the effectiveness of mirroring in enhancing rapport and influence. Researchers have observed that people who subtly mirror the body language, speech patterns, and even breathing rhythms of others are perceived as more likable and trustworthy. This effect occurs even when the mirroring is not consciously noticed by the person being mirrored. So how can we harness this powerful psychological principle in our interactions? The key lies in subtle, thoughtful application across various aspects of communication. Let's start with verbal mirroring. This involves adapting your speech patterns to match those of the person you're interacting with. Pay attention to their pace of speech. Are they speaking quickly or slowly? Match their tempo. Notice their tone. Is it formal or casual? Energetic or subdued? Align your own tone accordingly. Vocabulary is another crucial aspect of verbal mirroring. Listen for key phrases or words that the other person uses frequently and incorporate them into your own speech. If they tend to use technical jargon, mirror that. If they prefer simple, straightforward language, adjust your speech accordingly. This creates a sense of shared language, enhancing the feeling of connection. Nonverbal mirroring is equally important, if not more so. Our body language often communicates more than our words, and aligning your physical presence with that of others can create a powerful sense of rapport. This doesn't mean mimicking every movement. That would be obvious and potentially off-putting. Instead, focus on subtle synchronization. Observe the other person's posture and overall energy level. Are they leaning forward, engaged, and energetic, or are they more relaxed and laid back? Gradually adjust your own posture to match. Pay attention to their gestures and incorporate similar movements into your own communication style. Facial expressions and eye contact are particularly potent areas for mirroring. We naturally tend to reflect the emotions we see in others, and consciously enhancing this tendency can deepen connection. If they smile, return the smile. If they furrow their brow in concentration, allow your own expression to reflect thoughtfulness. Maintain a level of eye contact that matches their comfort level, neither too intense nor too evasive. The key to effective mirroring lies in its subtle implementation. This is not about becoming a carbon copy of the other person, but rather about creating a sense of harmony and alignment. Start gradually, allowing your mirroring to build naturally over the course of an interaction. Be responsive to the other person's cues. If they shift their energy or communication style, be prepared to adapt. It's crucial to maintain authenticity throughout this process. Mirroring should enhance your natural communication style, not replace it entirely. The goal is to create a bridge between your authentic self and the person you're interacting with, not to present a false persona. To truly master the art of mirroring, it's essential to combine it with genuine empathy. This means going beyond surface-level imitation to truly understand the emotional state of the other person. Are they excited? Anxious? Contemplative? By tuning into their emotional frequency, you can respond in a way that feels deeply validating and connecting. This empathetic approach allows you to build deeper, more meaningful connections. It transforms mirroring from a mere technique into a genuine expression of understanding and rapport. When done skillfully, the other person doesn't consciously recognize that you're mirroring them. They simply feel understood and connected to you. Like any skill, mirroring improves with practice. Consider engaging in mirroring practice sessions with a trusted friend or colleague. Take turns leading conversations while the other person attempts to mirror subtly. Provide feedback to each other on what felt natural and what seemed forced or obvious. It can also be helpful to review your own interactions. Pay attention to your body language and speech patterns in various situations. Are there times when you naturally fall into sync with others? What does that feel like? By becoming more aware of your own tendencies, you'll be better equipped to consciously apply mirroring techniques. As you develop your mirroring skills, you'll likely notice a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll find it easier to establish rapport in everyday interactions. People will tend to feel more comfortable around you, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. As your skills improve, you may notice an increase in your ability to influence others. This isn't about manipulation, but rather about creating a sense of alignment that makes others more receptive to your ideas and suggestions. You might find negotiations going more smoothly, or notice that people are more likely to seek out and value your opinion. At its highest level, skillful mirroring can lead to seamless interactions where your ability to persuade is dramatically enhanced, all without the other person consciously realizing why they find you so compelling and trustworthy. Of course, as with any powerful technique, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. The most obvious risk is being detected while attempting to mirror. If someone notices that you're consciously imitating them, it can create discomfort and erode trust. Pay attention to signs of suspicion or discomfort and be prepared to adjust your approach if needed. There's also a risk of overdoing it. Mirroring should feel natural and unforced. If you find yourself contorting into unnatural positions or dramatically altering your speech patterns, you've likely gone too far. Remember, the goal is to enhance connection, not to become a chameleon. As we conclude this exploration of mirroring techniques, you're now equipped with a powerful tool for enhancing your persuasive abilities. But mirroring is just one piece of the puzzle. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a method so subtle it operates entirely beneath the surface of conscious awareness. Prepare to discover how to plant seeds of influence that grow in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind as we explore the art of hidden suggestion. Chapter 4: Embedded Suggestions. Have you ever found yourself pondering an idea or considering a course of action only to wonder where the thought originated? Perhaps it seemed to arise spontaneously, yet felt strangely compelling. What if I told you that such thoughts can be skillfully planted, taking root in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind without ever triggering the alarm bells of conscious awareness? In this chapter, we delve into a technique so subtle, so powerful, that it operates beneath the surface of ordinary conversation. It's a method that allows you to weave influential ideas into the fabric of dialogue, bypassing the usual defenses that people erect against persuasion. This technique is not about forceful convincing or overt argument, but rather about gently guiding thoughts and behaviors in a desired direction. But why is this approach so crucial in the realm of covert persuasion? To understand its importance, we must first recognize the limitations of direct persuasion. When people sense they're being overtly influenced, they often respond with resistance. It's a natural defensive mechanism, a way of preserving autonomy and resisting external control. This resistance can manifest as skepticism, argument, or simple dismissal of ideas. Embedded suggestions, however, sidestep this resistance entirely. By integrating persuasive ideas seamlessly into conversation, they slip past the conscious mind's gatekeepers. Instead of triggering defensive reactions, they plant seeds of thought directly in the subconscious, where they can germinate and grow without interference. This approach leverages a fundamental aspect of human psychology, the receptiveness of the subconscious mind to subtle cues and indirect communication. While our conscious mind is occupied with the surface-level content of a conversation, our subconscious is constantly processing a wealth of additional information: tone, context, implications, and more. It's through this channel that embedded suggestions exert their influence. The power of this technique lies in its ability to influence at a level deeper than conscious thought. Ideas introduced through embedded suggestions can shape beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors without the person ever realizing they've been influenced. It's a bit like planting a seed that grows into a fully formed idea, with the person believing it was their own thought all along. So how does one go about crafting these subtle yet powerful suggestions? The art lies in the skillful use of language patterns that engage the imagination and bypass logical resistance. One of the most effective tools in this arsenal is the use of metaphors and analogies. Metaphors are powerful because they allow us to understand and experience one thing in terms of another. When you use a well-crafted metaphor, you're not just conveying information, you're creating a rich, multisensory experience in the listener's mind. This engages their imagination and emotions, making the embedded suggestion far more impactful than a direct statement would be. For instance, rather than directly suggesting that someone should be more open to new ideas, you might weave a metaphor about a flower opening its petals to the sun, absorbing light and growing stronger. The subconscious mind readily absorbs such imagery, associating the positive qualities of growth and strength with the idea of openness. Another powerful technique is the use of pacing and leading. This involves starting with statements that the person already agrees with or experiences, then gradually introducing new ideas. By first establishing a pattern of agreement, you create a momentum that makes the person more likely to accept subsequent suggestions. For example, you might begin by making obvious statements about the person's current experience. You're sitting here, listening to my words, feeling the chair beneath you. As they mentally agree with these statements, you can then introduce a suggestion. And as you consider these ideas, you might find yourself becoming more and more curious about how to apply them in your life. The key to effectively embedding suggestions is to weave them seamlessly into the natural flow of conversation. This requires practice and a keen awareness of language. You want your suggestions to feel like a natural part of the dialogue, not stand out as obvious attempts at influence. One way to achieve this is through the strategic use of emphasis and repetition. By subtly stressing certain words or phrases, you can draw the subconscious mind's attention to key ideas. Repeating these ideas in slightly different forms throughout the conversation reinforces their impact without seeming unnatural. Your tone of voice and the way you modulate your speech also play a crucial role in embedding suggestions effectively. Varying your pitch, volume, and speed can help to highlight certain ideas and create emotional resonance. Strategic pauses can be particularly powerful, allowing key suggestions to sink in and giving the listener's mind time to process and internalize the ideas. Mastering the art of embedded suggestions requires practice and refinement. Start by developing a toolkit of effective phrases and metaphors that you can draw upon in various situations. Pay attention to the specific language patterns used by influential speakers and writers, and practice incorporating similar structures into your own communication. As you begin to implement these techniques, it's crucial to do so with ethical consideration and a focus on mutual benefit. The goal is not to manipulate or deceive, but to communicate more effectively and to help guide people towards positive outcomes. Always ensure that your suggestions align with the best interests of the person you're communicating with. To hone your skills, engage in practical exercises. Try writing practice dialogues that incorporate embedded suggestions, then analyze them for effectiveness and naturalness. Engage in role-playing scenarios with peers, taking turns embedding suggestions and providing feedback to each other. Pay close attention to how different phrasings and delivery styles impact the reception of your suggestions. As you develop your proficiency with embedded suggestions, you may notice a range of outcomes. At a basic level, you might observe a subtle influence on people's thoughts and behaviors over time. As your skills improve, you may start to see more immediate impacts, with people quickly adopting ideas or perspectives you've subtly introduced. The ultimate goal and the mark of true mastery is to achieve seamless persuasion without detection. In this ideal scenario, your embedded suggestions guide people towards desired outcomes so naturally that they believe the ideas and decisions are entirely their own. However, it's important to be aware of potential pitfalls. One common mistake is overcomplicating your messages. Remember, the power of embedded suggestions lies in their simplicity and subtlety. If your language becomes too convoluted or your metaphors too complex, you risk losing the natural flow of conversation and drawing attention to your persuasive efforts. Another risk is coming across as manipulative. This can happen if your suggestions feel forced or if there's a mismatch between your words and your genuine intentions. Always strive for authenticity and alignment between your suggestions and your true beliefs and values. Focus on creating win-win scenarios where both you and the person you're communicating with benefit from the outcome. As we conclude this exploration of embedded suggestions, you now possess a powerful tool for influencing thoughts and behaviors beneath the surface of conscious awareness. But this is just one facet of the art of covert persuasion. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a technique that taps into one of the most fundamental aspects of human nature, our innate love of stories. Prepare to discover how narratives can become vehicles for profound influence, as we explore the hidden power of storytelling in persuasion. Chapter 5: Storytelling Power. Since the dawn of human civilization, there has been a force so captivating, so influential, that it has shaped cultures, molded beliefs, and inspired actions across millennia. This force has the power to transport us to distant worlds, to make us feel emotions we've never experienced, and to change our perspectives in profound ways. What is this mysterious power that has held sway over the human mind for so long? As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover the secrets of this ancient art and how it can be harnessed for covert persuasion. This technique is so natural, so ingrained in human communication, that we often overlook its immense potential for influence. Yet, when wielded skillfully, it becomes one of the most potent tools in the arsenal of covert persuasion. But why is this approach so crucial in the realm of subtle influence? To understand its importance, we must first recognize the limitations of traditional persuasion methods. Facts and figures, while important, often fail to resonate on a deeper level. They speak to the logical mind, but leave the emotional core untouched. And it's in this emotional realm where true persuasion takes root. This technique bypasses the logical defenses we often erect against persuasion. It sneaks past our critical faculties and speaks directly to our hearts and imaginations. By engaging our emotions and sparking our creativity, it opens us up to new ideas and perspectives in a way that feels natural and unforced. Moreover, this approach makes messages stick. Long after the details of a logical argument have faded from memory, the essence of a well-told story remains, influencing thoughts and behaviors in subtle yet powerful ways. So what is this magical technique? It's the art of storytelling. Stories are the vehicles through which we make sense of the world, connect with others, and understand complex ideas. They are the currency of human experience, traded in conversations, shared across generations, and woven into the fabric of our cultures. The power of storytelling in persuasion lies in its ability to create emotional engagement. When we hear a story, we don't just process information, we experience it. Our brains react to the events in a story as if we were actually living them. This creates a deep, visceral connection that mere facts can never achieve. Consider the difference between being told a statistic about the importance of perseverance and hearing a gripping tale of someone overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. The statistic might be interesting, but the story will stay with you, inspiring you in your own moments of challenge. Stories also have a unique ability to simplify complex ideas. Through narrative, abstract concepts become concrete, relatable experiences. This makes them particularly effective for conveying nuanced messages or introducing new perspectives in a non-threatening way. But what makes a story truly persuasive? The key lies in crafting narratives with elements that resonate deeply with your audience. One of the most crucial aspects is creating relatable characters. When we see ourselves reflected in a story's protagonist, we become emotionally invested in their journey. This empathy opens us up to the ideas and messages embedded within the narrative. Equally important is the element of conflict and resolution. A story without challenges is like a river without bends. It might move forward, but it lacks the energy and interest that come from navigating obstacles. By crafting compelling challenges for your characters and providing satisfying resolutions, you create a narrative arc that keeps your audience engaged and receptive to your message. The real art of using storytelling for covert persuasion lies in embedding your messages within the narrative in a subtle, natural way. This isn't about hitting people over the head with a moral or overtly preaching your point of view. Instead, it's about weaving your ideas so seamlessly into the fabric of the story that people absorb them almost unconsciously. One effective technique is to allow for self-discovery. Rather than explicitly stating the lesson or message, craft your story in a way that leads the audience to draw their own conclusions. This not only makes the message more palatable, but also more powerful, as people are more likely to believe and act on ideas they feel they've discovered for themselves. Of course, for your stories to be effective tools of persuasion, they need to align with your objectives. This doesn't mean forcing a message where it doesn't fit, but rather finding or crafting narratives that naturally support your goals. The key is to integrate your key messages in a way that feels organic to the story, not tacked on or forced. Delivering your story effectively is just as important as crafting it well. Timing and context play crucial roles. A powerful story told at the wrong moment or in an inappropriate setting can fall flat or even backfire. Pay attention to the mood of your audience and the flow of conversation to find the right opening for your narrative. When you do share your story, use vivid imagery to bring it to life. Descriptive language that engages the senses can transport your audience into the world of your narrative, making the experience more immersive and impactful. Don't just tell your audience what happened, help them see, hear, and feel it. Adapting your stories to your specific audience is another crucial skill in persuasive storytelling. This requires a deep understanding of your audience's needs, interests, and experiences. Research your audience beforehand if possible, and be prepared to adjust your narrative on the fly based on their reactions. To truly master the art of persuasive storytelling, practice is essential. Consider engaging in story crafting workshops where you can develop narratives and receive feedback from peers. Practice telling your stories to different audiences, paying close attention to their reactions, and refining your delivery based on what you observe. As you hone your storytelling skills, you'll likely notice a range of outcomes. At a basic level, you'll see increased audience engagement and interest. People will lean in, both literally and figuratively, eager to hear what comes next in your narrative. As your skills improve, you may start to notice changes in people's beliefs and attitudes. The ideas embedded in your stories will take root, influencing how people think about certain topics or situations. This is where the true power of persuasive storytelling begins to manifest. At its highest level, masterful storytelling can inspire action aligned with your objectives. People won't just think differently, they'll feel compelled to act differently, motivated by the emotional impact and insights gained from your narratives. Of course, as with any powerful technique, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One common issue is losing audience interest. This often happens when stories become too long or veer off into irrelevant details. Keep your narratives concise and focused, always maintaining a clear connection to your main point. Another risk is misinterpretation of your message. Sometimes, in our effort to be subtle, we can become too vague, leaving our audience confused about the point of the story. While you want to avoid being heavy-handed, it's important to ensure that your key message comes across clearly. Seeking feedback from trusted colleagues can help you strike the right balance. As we conclude this exploration of the power of storytelling in persuasion, you now possess one of the most potent tools for influencing hearts and minds. But the journey into the art of covert persuasion is far from over. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a technique that can shape perceptions and guide decisions with remarkable subtlety. Prepare to discover how the way you present information can be just as important as the information itself, as we explore the hidden influence of framing. Chapter 6, Framing Perspectives. Have you ever wondered why two people can look at the exact same situation and come away with completely different interpretations, or why some ideas seem to resonate deeply with us while others fall flat, even when they contain essentially the same information. The answer lies in a subtle yet powerful aspect of communication that shapes our perceptions, influences our decisions, and guides our behavior in ways we often don't even realize. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover a technique so fundamental to human cognition that it operates in nearly every interaction we have. It's a method that doesn't rely on changing the facts or adding new information, but rather on altering the lens through which those facts are viewed. This technique is so ingrained in our daily communication that we often use it without conscious thought. Yet when wielded with intention and skill, it becomes one of the most potent tools in the arsenal of covert persuasion. But why is this approach so crucial in the realm of subtle influence? To understand its importance, we must first recognize that human decision-making is far from the purely rational process we often assume it to be. Our choices are heavily influenced by factors that operate beneath the surface of conscious awareness, shaping our perceptions and guiding our conclusions in ways that can seem mysterious or even irrational. This technique taps into those subconscious influences, allowing us to guide perceptions and decisions without the need for overt persuasion. It enhances the acceptance of ideas by presenting them in a way that aligns with the listener's existing mental frameworks and values. In essence, it allows us to change minds by changing the context in which information is processed, rather than by changing the information itself. So what is this powerful method that can shape reality without altering facts? It's the art of framing. Framing is the process of presenting information in a specific way to influence how it's perceived and interpreted. It's based on the psychological principle that our decisions are influenced not just by the content of the information we receive, but by how that information is presented or framed. The power of framing lies in its ability to highlight certain aspects of a situation while downplaying others, effectively guiding the listener's focus and interpretation. It's like adjusting the lens of a camera. The scene remains the same, but what's emphasized in the picture can change dramatically based on how you frame the shot. Consider how differently a situation might be perceived if it's described as a challenge versus an opportunity, or how a 95% success rate sounds much more appealing than a 5% failure rate, even though they represent the same statistical reality. These subtle shifts in language can have profound effects on how information is processed and acted upon. Framing taps into several cognitive biases that influence our decision-making processes. One of the most significant is the anchoring bias, where our judgments are disproportionately influenced by the first piece of information we receive on a topic. By carefully choosing how you initially present an idea, you can set the anchor point around which all subsequent discussion will revolve. Another important aspect is the power of initial impressions. The way information is first framed tends to stick in our minds, coloring our perception of all related information that follows. This is why skilled communicators pay careful attention to how they introduce topics or ideas, knowing that this initial framing can set the tone for the entire conversation. So how can we harness the power of framing for covert persuasion? One effective technique is the strategic use of positive versus negative framing. Positive framing emphasizes the benefits or gains associated with a particular choice or action, while negative framing highlights the potential losses or risks of not taking that action. By choosing the appropriate frame, you can significantly influence how appealing or urgent a particular option appears. For instance, instead of focusing on the difficulties of a task, you might frame it in terms of the growth and learning opportunities it presents. Or, rather than dwelling on the risks of a new venture, you could emphasize the potential rewards and advantages it offers. The key is to align your framing with the values and motivations of your audience. Another powerful framing technique involves highlighting benefits over features. Instead of simply listing the attributes of an idea or product, focus on how those attributes translate into tangible value for the listener. This connects your message directly to their personal interests and needs, making it more compelling and relevant. The language and word choice you use in framing are crucial. Certain words carry emotional weight and can evoke powerful responses. By carefully selecting your vocabulary, you can influence thoughts and feelings in subtle yet significant ways. For example, words like opportunity, growth, innovation, and success tend to evoke positive emotions and forward-thinking mindsets. Equally important is avoiding language that might trigger resistance or defensiveness. Steer clear of confrontational or absolutist terms that might make people feel cornered or criticized. Instead, use collaborative language that invites participation and agreement. Phrases like, "What if we?" or "Have you considered?" can open up conversations rather than shutting them down. One of the most valuable applications of framing is in handling objections or concerns. Instead of directly countering negative points, try reframing them in a more positive light. Acknowledge the concern, then offer a new perspective that transforms it from a problem into an opportunity or a stepping stone toward a desired outcome. For example, if someone expresses doubt about a new initiative due to its complexity, you might reframe the complexity as a sign of the initiative's thoroughness and potential for significant impact. This technique doesn't dismiss the concern, but rather shifts the focus to a more constructive viewpoint. Visual elements can also play a powerful role in framing. The imagery you use to support your message, whether in presentations, documents, or physical spaces, can significantly influence how your ideas are perceived. Choose visuals that align with and reinforce your desired frame. Even the physical environment in which a conversation takes place can act as a frame, subtly influencing the mood and receptivity of your audience. To truly master the art of framing, practice is essential. Try rewriting statements to shift their frame from negative to positive or from feature-focused to benefit-focused. Engage in role-playing exercises where you practice handling objections through reframing. Pay attention to how different framings affect the responses you receive and refine your techniques accordingly. As you develop your framing skills, you'll likely notice a range of outcomes. At a basic level, you may observe a mild influence on people's perceptions, with them showing more openness to ideas you present. As your skills improve, you'll find yourself more effectively guiding decisions and steering conversations in your desired direction. The ultimate goal and the mark of true mastery is to achieve your desired outcomes through such subtle and natural framing that people feel they've arrived at their conclusions independently. This is the essence of covert persuasion, influencing thoughts and decisions in a way that feels organic and unforced. However, it's crucial to approach framing ethically and responsibly. The line between effective communication and manipulation can be thin, and it's important to stay on the right side of it. Always strive for clarity and avoid ambiguity that could lead to miscommunication. Your goal should be to present information in the most compelling and relevant way, not to deceive or mislead. Maintain transparency in your communication and focus on building trust. The most effective framing is that which aligns with reality and genuinely serves the interests of both parties. By using framing to highlight true benefits and positive aspects, you can create win-win situations that enhance relationships and lead to better outcomes for all involved. As we conclude this exploration of framing perspectives, you now possess a powerful tool for shaping perceptions and guiding decisions with remarkable subtlety. But our journey into the depths of covert persuasion is far from over. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a technique that operates even more stealthily, setting the stage for influence before a single word is spoken. Prepare to discover how the mind can be primed for persuasion as we explore the hidden power of context and expectation. Chapter 7, Priming Effects. Have you ever noticed how a single word, image, or experience can suddenly shift your entire train of thought? Perhaps you found yourself inexplicably drawn to a particular idea or action without quite understanding why. These seemingly random occurrences are far from coincidental. They are the result of a powerful psychological phenomenon that operates beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, subtly shaping our perceptions, decisions, and behaviors. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover a technique so subtle, yet so influential, that it can set the stage for persuasion before a single argument is made. This method doesn't rely on logical reasoning or emotional appeal. Instead, it taps into the hidden recesses of the mind, preparing it to receive and respond to information in specific ways. But why is this approach so crucial in the realm of covert persuasion? To understand its importance, we must first recognize that human thought and behavior are far more susceptible to external influences than we often realize. Our minds are constantly processing a vast array of stimuli, much of it outside our conscious awareness. These subtle cues can have a profound impact on how we perceive and respond to subsequent information and situations. This technique allows us to harness these subconscious influences, setting the stage for desired responses without the need for overt persuasion. It enhances the effectiveness of other persuasion techniques by creating a mental environment that's more receptive to certain ideas or suggestions. In essence, it allows us to tilt the playing field in our favor before the game even begins. So what is this powerful method that can shape thoughts and behaviors so stealthily? It's the art of priming. Priming involves exposing someone to stimuli that influence their subsequent thoughts and actions without their conscious awareness. By introducing specific words, images, or concepts early in an interaction, you can set the stage for how they perceive and respond to later information. The power of priming lies in its ability to activate certain mental concepts or associations, making them more accessible and influential in subsequent thought processes. It's like planting seeds in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, seeds that will sprout and influence perception and behavior in subtle yet significant ways. Consider how differently you might approach a conversation if you had just watched an inspiring movie about courage and perseverance, compared to if you had just read a news article about deceit and betrayal. Even though these prior experiences may seem unrelated to the conversation at hand, they can significantly influence your mindset, your interpretation of events, and your responses. Priming taps into the way our brains process and store information. Our minds are vast networks of interconnected concepts and associations. When one concept is activated, it spreads activation to related concepts, making them more accessible and influential in our thinking. This is why a single word or image can trigger a cascade of related thoughts and feelings, often without us even realizing it. Psychological research has consistently demonstrated the power of priming across a wide range of contexts. Studies have shown that priming can influence everything from how quickly we recognize words, to how we interpret ambiguous situations, to how we behave in social interactions. The implications of these findings for persuasion and influence are profound. There are several types of priming, each with its own unique applications in covert persuasion. Semantic priming, for instance, involves activating certain concepts or ideas to enhance comprehension and receptivity to related information. By strategically introducing certain words or themes early in a conversation, you can prime the mind to more readily accept and process related ideas later on. Associative priming, on the other hand, leverages the connections between different concepts in our mental networks. By activating one concept, you can indirectly influence thoughts and behaviors related to associated concepts. This can be particularly powerful when you want to guide someone's thinking in a certain direction without explicitly mentioning your intended topic. Implementing priming techniques effectively requires careful planning and subtlety. One key strategy is to introduce key concepts early in an interaction, seeding ideas that will take root and influence subsequent perceptions and responses. This might involve casually mentioning certain words or themes that are related to your ultimate persuasive goal. Environmental cues can also play a powerful role in priming. The physical setting of an interaction, the objects present, even the background music or scents in the air can all serve as primes that influence mood, thought patterns, and decision-making processes. By carefully curating the environment, you can create a setting that subtly supports your persuasive objectives. verbal priming is particularly potent in face-to-face interactions. The strategic use of certain keywords, repeated themes, and intentional language choices can shape the mental landscape of your conversation partner. The key is to weave these priming elements naturally into the flow of conversation so they don't stand out as obvious attempts at influence. Repetition and reinforcement can enhance the effects of priming, but it's crucial to strike a balance. Too much repetition can become noticeable and potentially off-putting. The art lies in reinforcing your primes subtly and variedly, maintaining their influence without drawing attention to them. As with all persuasion techniques, the ethical use of priming is paramount. While priming operates at a subconscious level, it's important to respect the autonomy and free will of those you're interacting with. The goal should be to create an environment conducive to mutual understanding and positive outcomes, not to manipulate or deceive. To truly master the art of priming, practice and experimentation are essential. Try designing priming strategies for various conversational scenarios. Plan out how you might introduce certain concepts or themes early on to set the stage for your main points. Pay attention to the environment and consider how you might incorporate subtle cues that support your message. Testing your priming techniques is crucial for refining your approach. Observe how people react to different priming strategies. Do they seem more receptive to certain ideas? Do their responses align more closely with your objectives? Use these observations to adjust and improve your techniques over time. As you develop your priming skills, you're likely to notice a range of outcomes. At a basic level, you may observe a mild influence on initial perceptions, with people showing slightly more openness or receptivity to certain ideas. As your skills improve, you might start to see enhanced receptivity to your main points, with people more readily accepting and engaging with your ideas. The ultimate goal, and the mark of true mastery, is to achieve consistent alignment between others' responses and your objectives. This doesn't mean controlling their thoughts or actions, but rather creating an environment where your ideas and suggestions naturally resonate and take root. However, it's important to be aware of potential pitfalls. Ineffective priming can occur if you choose cues that are irrelevant or too subtle to have an impact. If your priming attempts are too obvious, they may be noticed and potentially create resistance. The key is to refine your strategies through practice and careful observation, always striving for natural, unobtrusive implementation. Ethical concerns are also crucial to consider. While priming is a powerful tool, it's important to use it responsibly and with integrity. Avoid any attempts at manipulation or deception. Instead, focus on using priming to create positive, mutually beneficial outcomes. Your goal should be to enhance understanding and communication, not to exert undue influence. As we conclude this exploration of priming effects, you now possess a powerful tool for subtly shaping the mental landscape of your interactions. But our journey into the depths of covert persuasion is far from over. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a technique that taps into one of the most fundamental human needs, the desire for autonomy and control. Prepare to discover how the illusion of choice can be a potent force for influence as we explore the hidden power of guided decision-making. Chapter 8: The Illusion of Choice. Have you ever felt a sense of satisfaction after making a decision, only to realize later that your options were carefully curated by someone else? Or perhaps you've experienced the frustration of too many choices, leading to decision paralysis? These scenarios touch upon a fascinating aspect of human psychology that, when understood and applied skillfully, can become a powerful tool in the art of covert persuasion. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover a technique that taps into one of our most fundamental psychological needs, the desire for autonomy and control. This method doesn't rely on forceful arguments or emotional manipulation. Instead, it leverages our innate drive to make our own decisions while subtly guiding us towards predetermined outcomes. But why is this approach so crucial in the realm of covert persuasion? To understand its importance, we must first recognize that humans have a deep-seated aversion to feeling controlled or manipulated. When we sense that our freedom of choice is being restricted, we often react with resistance or defiance. This phenomenon, known as reactance, can derail even the most well-crafted persuasion attempts. This technique allows us to sidestep that resistance by creating the perception of free choice. It empowers others to make decisions while subtly steering them towards the outcomes we desire. In essence, it allows us to guide behavior without triggering the defensive mechanisms that often arise in the face of overt persuasion attempts. So what is this powerful method that can shape decisions so effectively? It's the art of creating the illusion of choice. By presenting a carefully curated set of options, we can guide decisions in a desired direction while maintaining the individual's sense of autonomy and control. The power of this technique lies in its ability to satisfy our psychological need for self-determination. When we feel that we're making our own choices, we're more invested in the outcomes and more satisfied with the results. This increased buy-in can lead to greater commitment and follow-through on decisions, even if those decisions were subtly influenced by external factors. Consider how differently you might react to being told what to do versus being presented with a set of options to choose from. Even if the end result is the same, the act of choosing creates a sense of ownership and control that can dramatically increase your satisfaction and commitment to the outcome. The concept of controlled choices is at the heart of this technique. It involves offering options that are all aligned with your desired outcome, but which provide enough variety to create a genuine sense of choice. The key is to design these options in a way that makes your preferred choice the most attractive while still maintaining the appearance of impartiality. This approach taps into the psychology of choice satisfaction. Studies have shown that people are generally more satisfied with decisions they perceive as self-directed, even if those decisions were subtly guided by external factors. By providing a sense of autonomy, we can enhance acceptance of outcomes and reduce the likelihood of post-decision regret or resistance. Designing effective choice sets requires careful consideration. The goal is to structure options in a way that makes your preferred choice the most appealing without making this bias obvious. This might involve highlighting certain aspects of your preferred option that align with the decision-maker's known preferences or values. At the same time, it's important to ensure that all options presented are viable and have their own merits. If the alternatives are clearly inferior or unrealistic, the illusion of choice is shattered and the technique loses its effectiveness. One crucial aspect of this technique is limiting choices without creating a sense of restriction. While it might seem counterintuitive, offering too many options can actually lead to decision paralysis and dissatisfaction. By carefully curating a limited set of choices, we can prevent overwhelm and make the decision-making process more manageable. The way choices are presented can significantly impact their effectiveness. Framing options positively and emphasizing their advantages can make the decision-making process more appealing and less stressful. Use affirmative language that highlights the benefits of each option rather than focusing on limitations or drawbacks. When presenting choices, it's crucial to align them with the needs and values of the decision-maker. This requires a deep understanding of the individual or group you're trying to influence. By demonstrating how each option addresses their specific concerns or goals, you can subtly steer them towards your preferred outcome. Avoiding choice overload is a key consideration in applying this technique effectively. Research has shown that when faced with too many options, people often become overwhelmed and may even avoid making a decision altogether. By keeping the number of choices manageable, typically between 3 to 5 options, you can facilitate smoother decision-making processes. Streamlining the decision process is another important aspect. Provide clear guidance on how to evaluate the options, perhaps by highlighting key factors to consider. This can help reduce decision fatigue and make the process feel more manageable and less daunting. The illusion of choice can be applied in various contexts, from negotiation scenarios to leadership situations. In negotiations, for instance, You might present a range of options that all lead to your desired outcome, but vary in their specific terms. This allows the other party to feel they're actively shaping the agreement, even as you guide them towards your preferred result. In leadership contexts, this technique can be used to build buy-in for new initiatives or changes. By involving team members in the decision-making process through carefully structured choices, you can increase their sense of ownership and commitment to the outcomes. As with any persuasion technique, it's important to be flexible and adjust based on feedback. Pay close attention to how people react to the choices you present. Are they engaging with the options? Do they seem satisfied with the decision-making process? Use these observations to refine your approach over time. To truly master the art of creating the illusion of choice, practice is essential. Try crafting choice sets for various scenarios, considering how you might structure options to subtly guide decisions in your preferred direction. Engage in role-playing exercises where you present these choices and observe how others respond. This hands-on practice will help you refine your technique and develop a more intuitive sense of how to apply it effectively. As you develop your skills in creating the illusion of choice, you're likely to notice a range of outcomes. At a basic level, you may observe that people are making decisions within the set of options you've provided, which itself is a form of guided decision-making. As your skills improve, you might start to see people consistently choosing your preferred option, but doing so willingly and with a sense of satisfaction. The ultimate goal, and the mark of true mastery, is to achieve consistent alignment between others' choices and your desired outcomes, all while maintaining their sense of autonomy and control. This doesn't mean manipulating people into decisions they don't want, but rather presenting options in a way that makes your preferred outcome the most attractive and beneficial choice from their perspective. However, it's crucial to be aware of potential pitfalls. If people perceive that they're being manipulated, it can backfire dramatically, eroding trust and creating resistance. Always strive to ensure that the options you present are genuine and that your preferred choice truly does offer benefits to the decision maker. Maintain transparency about the decision-making process and be prepared to accept when someone chooses an option other than your preferred one. There may also be times when people reject the choices altogether. In such cases, be prepared to provide alternative options or to reevaluate your choice structure. Remember, the goal is to guide decisions, not to force them. Flexibility and responsiveness are key to maintaining the effectiveness of this technique. As we conclude this exploration of the illusion of choice, you now possess a powerful tool for guiding decisions while maintaining others' sense of autonomy and control. But our journey into the depths of covert persuasion is not yet complete. In our final chapter, we'll explore how to integrate all the techniques we've discussed into a seamless, natural approach to influence. Prepare to discover the art of subtle mastery as we learn to weave these threads of persuasion into the very fabric of our daily interactions. Chapter 9, Subtle Mastery. As we reach the culmination of our journey through the intricate world of covert persuasion, it's time to step back and consider the broader implications of what you've learned. The techniques and strategies we've explored are not merely isolated tools, but components of a comprehensive approach to influence that, when mastered, can transform your interactions and your life in profound ways. The power you now hold is both exhilarating and sobering. With the knowledge you've gained, you have the ability to shape perceptions, guide decisions, and influence behaviors in ways that most people never realize are possible. This enhanced ability to influence effectively can open doors in both your personal and professional life that you might have previously thought were firmly closed. Imagine entering every interaction with a newfound confidence, knowing that you have the skills to navigate even the most complex social situations with grace and effectiveness. Whether you're in a high-stakes negotiation, a delicate personal conversation, or simply trying to get your point across in a meeting, the techniques you've learned can give you a significant edge. But this isn't just about achieving your own goals. One of the most profound impacts of mastering covert persuasion is how it can improve your relationships. By understanding the subtle dynamics of influence, you can build stronger connections with others, communicate more effectively, and resolve conflicts with an ease that might have seemed impossible before. Think about how your interactions might change when you can effortlessly build rapport, frame conversations in ways that resonate deeply with others, and guide decisions without triggering resistance. These skills allow you to create win-win scenarios where both you and the people you're interacting with feel heard, understood, and satisfied with the outcomes. The true power of what you've learned lies in your ability to influence decisions subtly and ethically. You're no longer limited to direct requests or arguments that often fall flat. Instead, you can shape the context of decisions, prime others to be more receptive to your ideas, and present choices in ways that naturally lead to your preferred outcomes. But here's the truly exciting part. What you've learned in this book is just the beginning. As you continue to practice and refine these concepts, you'll find that your ability to influence improves with less and less conscious effort. It's a process of internalization, where the techniques become so ingrained that they become a natural part of how you communicate and interact. Over time, you'll develop an intuition for persuasion that allows you to read situations quickly and apply the most effective techniques without even having to think about it. This is the state of effortless influence, where your ability to shape outcomes becomes as natural as breathing. The key to reaching this level of mastery lies in integrating the various techniques you've learned into a cohesive, personalized approach. Each situation you encounter will be unique, requiring a tailored combination of strategies. You might use framing to set the context, storytelling to engage emotions, and the illusion of choice to guide a decision, all within a single interaction. Flexibility is crucial. As you practice, you'll learn to read the subtle cues that indicate how someone is responding to your influence attempts. This awareness allows you to adjust your approach in real time, seamlessly shifting between techniques as needed to maintain rapport and guide the interaction towards your desired outcome. Role-playing exercises can be invaluable in honing your skills. Simulate a variety of scenarios, from job interviews to sales pitches to personal conversations. Practice applying different combinations of techniques and observe how they play out. This hands-on experience will help you identify areas for growth and refine your approach. Don't be afraid to seek feedback from trusted friends or colleagues. Their perspectives can provide invaluable insights into how your influence attempts are perceived. Embrace criticism as an opportunity for growth, using it to fine-tune your techniques and develop a more nuanced approach. As you apply these skills in real-world situations, pay close attention to the responses you receive. Learn to interpret the subtle cues that indicate whether your influence is effective. Are people leaning in, engaged in what you're saying? Are they nodding in agreement or showing signs of resistance? These observations will help you assess the effectiveness of your tactics and make proactive adjustments as needed. Remember, mastery is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself as you develop these skills. Some techniques may come naturally to you, while others might require more practice. Celebrate your successes, learn from your missteps, and remain committed to continuous improvement. Perhaps the most critical aspect of true mastery is maintaining ethical integrity in your use of these powerful techniques. The skills you've learned can be used to manipulate and deceive, but doing so not only violates ethical principles, but also undermines the long-term effectiveness of your influence. Instead, focus on using your skills to build genuine, mutually beneficial relationships. When you approach influence with integrity, seeking outcomes that truly benefit all parties involved, you create a foundation of trust that enhances your persuasive power over time. People will come to see you not as someone trying to manipulate them, but as a trusted advisor whose suggestions carry significant weight. As you continue to grow and refine your skills, stay curious and open to learning. The field of persuasion and influence is constantly evolving, with new research and techniques emerging regularly. Make a commitment to lifelong learning, staying updated on the latest developments and expanding your skill set. Regularly reflect on your progress. Evaluate your experiences, both successes and setbacks, and use them as opportunities for growth. Set new goals for yourself, always pushing the boundaries of your capabilities. Now, as we conclude this journey, I want to leave you with a final thought that encapsulates the true power of what you've learned. The techniques and strategies in this book are not just about persuasion, they're about understanding human nature at its core. As you master these skills, you're not just learning to influence others, you're gaining profound insights into the human mind, including your own. This deeper understanding of human psychology can lead to a level of self-awareness and personal growth that extends far beyond the realm of persuasion. You may find yourself becoming more empathetic, more attuned to the needs and motivations of others, and more skilled at navigating the complex web of human interactions in all areas of your life. In essence, the journey you've embarked upon is one of becoming a master of human connection. The skills you've learned, when applied with integrity and compassion, can help you build deeper, more meaningful relationships, achieve your goals with greater ease, and ultimately create positive change in your world. As you step forward from here, armed with this knowledge and these skills, remember that true power lies not in controlling others, but in creating harmony and mutual benefit. Use your newfound abilities wisely, ethically, and with a sense of responsibility. In doing so, you'll not only transform your own life, but have the potential to positively impact the lives of everyone you interact with. The path of subtle mastery is now open before you, but true influence extends beyond persuasion alone. As you apply these skills, you may encounter situations where uncertainty clouds your judgment, potentially limiting the effectiveness of your newfound abilities. How can you ensure your persuasive techniques remain potent in an unpredictable world? The answer lies in developing a critical mind that thrives amidst ambiguity. To truly maximize the power of covert persuasion, you'll need to master the art of clear thinking in uncertain times. Discover how to transform reactive impulses into strategic insights in the audiobook, Stop Reacting, Start Thinking, The Art of Critical Thinking in the Face of Uncertainty. This essential guide will elevate your persuasive skills to new heights, ensuring you remain influential no matter how unpredictable the situation. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.